Hello, everybody. My name is Edward Reyes, and I'm out here in Russia. And I do want to make this video. I am going to include in the titles Passport Bros because that seems to be a trending topic. Now, I do make this video with reluctancy. I am in Russia. I have been living in Russia since 2017. And the reason why I make it with reluctance is because it's very peaceful here. It's very nice for me to be a foreigner. It's very nice for me to escape the West, right? And I don't mind sharing my experiences. A lot of you guys, many people follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and that's fine with me. Like I don't want to hide it. I don't want to hide anything. But at the same time, I kind of want to balance that out with like being tranquil. Yeah, pretty much. And but one of the reasons why I'm making this video is because there's, as I'm sure many of you guys know, there's a Pew study, and I'll share the video with you. But they're calling it the crisis of the lonely man, right, between 18 and 29. I know a lot of you guys are out there, even outside of that scope, right? Over 18, you're struggling with females. I've been there, and it's getting to the point where there's compelling reasons for me to share my story. I don't want people committing suicide. I know it's very difficult, so I want to give you hope. And if you like my story, follow me. If you don't, then I'm not going to push anything on you, right? Quick background about me. Let's see. So I'm a practicing attorney from California. Grew up in South Central Los Angeles, and pretty much I've had success with women for most of my adult life. But there was a time when I didn't, when I was just miserable, and I want to share that story with you guys because I know many of you can relate to that. So I don't know if I've been lucky or I don't know, but I mean with females, I mean I've had dream girls. I mean what I mean by dream girls, I've been with that girl that's a virgin, that's beautiful, that wants to get married. But one thing about me is that I did not want to get married in my 20s nor my 30s. Well, yeah, let me backtrack. I did want to get married. I did want to marry when I was 35. When I was younger, that seemed to be that was the target, right? But I had just, okay, so let me stop there. Let's just keep it that way, all right? So as I was approaching my mid 30s, I kind of fell into that. What would you even call that? What would you even call that? I guess when people just go somewhere, they just follow the person in front of you. I kind of got carried away. I kind of felt that I had to conform to I guess the mainstream agenda, that you have to kind of treat a woman like you want to give her like the privilege, right? Because you hear many women complain, and I just didn't want to be one of those guys that talks bad about a woman. So I said, hey, look, well, this time let me follow the mainstream, all right? And I did follow the mainstream. So I wanted to be a super nice guy with this female, and I just noticed that the nicer I became, the nicer I was. Like she did not reciprocate those emotions. So it was like me getting out of character, because I did want to marry. I wanted to conform to society's standards, and I wanted to do the right thing. Okay, so it in a sense, that was not me, because I'm used to treating being in a relationship, and I treat the female a certain way, in a very masculine way, and historically they like that, right? They just, at least the women that I've been with, like in some type of relationship. I'm not saying all women, but I'm just gonna talk about myself here. And and I actually wanted to marry this girl that I had met. But then I started noticing that she would talk about her past. And back then, the term high body count, it wasn't so popular. But it got to the point where I just had to ask her, like I even told her, I said, "Hey, look, I don't want to know about your past." But then she kept bringing it up, so the situation arose where I said, "Hey, look, you bring up your past constantly, so now I have to ask, what's your body count?" Oh my God, I was shocked. And then I remember I was like kind of trembling, like my jaw. And I remember I had to somehow derive enough strength to ask. I asked her this: "Have you had any one night stands?" And I was hoping she would say no, and she did. She gave me a number, which I think it was a very conservative number. I think females tend to not truthfully disclose that information. But one was enough for me. The fact that she had like one encounter, that it was just a one night thing, and it was like kind of like the same. I related it to the same day lay, meet the person the same, right. So I was like, wow. I was crushed, you guys. It felt like a heap of rocks just landed on me, because living out in the West, you're kind of brought up to believe that females, that they're not tarnished, that their minds are not perverted, right? Even in law, there's a presumption that the woman, that she's not promiscuous. Okay, that's the presumption in law. Okay, so for me, that moment, it was like it hit me hard. I was crushed, and I just knew then that I couldn't be in a relationship like that, and I just didn't feel comfortable that I had to play this role to kind of conform to society, and it just made me sad, and I know I had to take some kind of action. So eventually I decided, hey, look, there's got to be a point where I have to exit. I have to depart the United States and go to Eastern Europe. There were some things about Eastern Europe that really, I've been there before, and I was very impressed. And I said, well, I don't know much about it, but anything's better than here, right? Than the West. I couldn't do it. So the time came where I had to eventually move. I did. I remember I had these credit cards, and I just paid them off, and I'm like, okay, now it's off. It's off. I'm out of here. I was fortunate enough. I'll tell you about the income. I'll tell you about the income in a bit. But I ended up choosing Russia because, well, for one thing, the World Cup, and I followed the World Cup. The World Cup was going to take place in 2018 in Russia. And I said, well, that's probably going to be a good place. So things are just kind of aligning here. So I said, all right, it's going to be Russia. Who do I know there? Nobody. Do I speak Russian? No. Am I within that religion that is practiced commonly? No. The race, am I right there? They're Slavic. I'm not Slavic. So these differences, right? And I kind of like that. Did I know? I was kind of. I like going places. I've noticed that I like going places where I'm different, and I've had great experiences. Right. So a lot of people they just want to go where there's a lot of people like them and all that, and that's you, that's fine, but that's definitely not me. So I was fortunate enough. I'll tell you about the finances because I couldn't get a job here because I was on a business visa, so I couldn't get a job here in Russia. So you got to think about if you want to live somewhere, how are you going to make money? So this was 2017, and I was just fortunate that I was part of my parents' company. They had my father had a company, and I was part of that, and that provided sufficient funds for me to live out here in Russia, and the cost of living, well, at least my expenses were not high, so I was comfortable. I was fortunate. I would say that because a lot of people, I mean, they do. You guys do want to move to a different country, but what are you gonna do for money? All right, so I was just fortunate in that regard. So so well, that wasn't the only reason why I came to Russia. There's also the banking system. The West has how would you say this? It has a bank controlled by certain people. I don't want to say the names. Some of you guys know who controls the central banks. If you want to read a great book on that, look at The Creature from Jekyll Island. That'll blow your mind. The early 1900s and how certain families got together to control the banking system and the taxes. All right, so the taxes, that's kind of where I'm going. I mean, high taxes, high inflation. Inflation is a tax, by the way. It's called the invisible tax. And maybe I'll explain that in another video, but definitely not now. The point was that the type of female that I was looking for, and the taxing system, it seemed that I had to leave the United States, and that's how I ended up in Russia. Okay. Now it came time for me to meet girls. I am a person that I like to study. I like to learn new things. I'm always open to that, and I did I did study game. I wasn't like going out every day in the United States nor in Russia, but I kind of knew enough to be social and to meet girls, and tried it out here. And I mean, it worked, but my real forte was dancing. I learned in the United States how to dance salsa and bachata. So that kind of got me into a scene out here in Russia where I was able to meet females, and eventually I met a female there. We're no longer together. I don't want to get too much into that, but yeah, it was mind opening because of her age and the way she was, very very conservative, as compared to the females I was meeting in the United States. I'll tell you the type of females I was meeting. I was meeting because I was older at the time. I think I was like 42 when I came to Russia. And in the United States, the type of the girls, the ages there were in their 20s, 30s, and most of them had children. And I didn't want to marry a girl with children. I mean, that's just my preference, and I could explain in a different video, but definitely not now. It's my preference, and I don't have any children, so I was like, whoa. And of course, there's that looming high body count. It just freaked me out, and I just didn't want to deal with that, right? So the girl that I met her in salsa, and she was at the time when I met her, she was 22, and I was like 42. So yeah, there was like a 20-year difference there, and but the point is that I learned how to dance, and the point is that also that I took action. I took action, and I said, hey, look, I'm leaving. Okay, so that's one thing, that if you're lonely, and right, you're not comfortable, you have to take some kind of strong action. And for me, another thing was that, like I said earlier, is that I want to be different. I want to go somewhere where I'm going to be just completely different, and that's what Russia provided. And yeah, so if you guys, oh, by the way, I do want to say this. I am a lawyer. I'm an immigration lawyer, and this is, if you guys, this is how I want to pay my bills, right? Through making little ads here. If you guys are interested in any immigration issues within the United States, related to the United States, not to another country, I don't provide legal advice for Russia. I don't have a license to do that. And if you're interested in the K1, the fiance visa, let me know. Send me. I'll have a link here at the bottom. But yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. So I'm gonna make more videos, and I do want to tell my story. I think it's important for me to share this. And oh, by the way, I am with a girl now, and that's important. I should have said that earlier. And she's my dream girl. And right now we're getting ready to go do a little shopping, and yeah, that's it. So subscribe to this channel, and we'll be conversing. All right, we're telling stories and all that good stuff. Okay, thank you for watching.